Welcome to the Conceive, Believe, and Achieve podcast. I'm your host, Sean Garris. Today's guest is, let me give you a little bit of background about it. Today's guest, I'll introduce him. His name is Bogdan Poparowski.
Yes.
I said that maybe?
Well, very, very close.
Very, very close. You know what? My last name, we'll tell a story about my last name, how it's butchered everywhere.
Well, not for me.
Yeah.
For me it's easy.
Yours is easy? Okay. So, Bogdan, I want to welcome you to the show.
Thank you very much.
You are a resident of Canada, Mississauga, which is just around the corner, so thank you for
That's
making
right.
the trip in. But your background starts a little farther away.
Yeah.
You're a graduate of the Academy of Physical Education. You have a PhD in the
Yes.
theory of sports.
Yes.
You were the track and field coach at AZS, University Association of Poland.
Yes.
And you represented Poland at the as a national team member as well.
Yes.
And then coming over to Canada, and I believe it was 81.
Yes.
University of Toronto track and field coach.
Yes.
As well as the coach of the Canadian track and field team with the Commonwealth Games, the World Championships. And again, the Olympic team, Seoul in 1988 and Barcelona in 1992. Is
Yes.
that correct?
Yes.
Awesome. We've got it down. We've got your resume.
I'll get one more.
One more. What is it?
1997,
Yeah.
World Championships in track and field in Athens, and I was the head coach for the team.
Okay. Well, I missed that one.
Yeah, nobody knows it really.
Well, now we do. Everybody's
Yeah.
getting at it information now. Awesome. I want to tell you the process of me getting you on the show was one, going through Vern Gambetta, who you know very, very intimately,
Yeah.
a good friend of yours.
Yeah.
He recommended that you come on the show. I did a little research looking into your background. Very impressive, of course. I just read your accolades. But what I wanted to do is ask you how you started off with sports. How did you get involved in sports?
This is so old story because at my childhood, we didn't have any TV, we didn't have anything else, right? It was just sport, running, jumping, playing soccer.
Mm-hmm.
But soccer is a funny thing because at that time, because I was born in 1948, right? So after the Second World War in Poland, we didn't have that much of wealth. We didn't have, I am from a small city, so we didn't have soccer balls. So we kicked the balls. We just made up some balls from the rugs and stuff like this. But my grandfather was a wealthier guy a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So he bought me a leather soccer ball. And I was the only guy in 40 families around who had the soccer ball, leather soccer ball. That was amazing because even the next guys on the different neighborhoods didn't have it. So I am the king of the castle because I had the soccer ball. And I was maybe 6, maybe 7, maybe 5. I don't remember right now. But we played all the time. And because I had the soccer ball, then I had the choice to play whenever I wanted to, whatever position. And the guys knew that if they pissed me off, then I would take the ball and I would go home, right? So I had this chance to develop a little bit more. But then it's also the situation that once you do something at this age that actually the other guys are listening to, then it is just you're becoming kind of like boss. It's not just the ball that made me, but my mother was the teacher,
Mm-hmm.
my dad was a school principal, my grandfather and uncles, they were always some leadership position. So maybe it is just family upbringing. But I kind of like that I would organize something. So, you can play soccer 2, 3, 4 hours a day for 5, 6 weeks. But after this, you would like to do a little bit more. And there was one guy who was 1 year older, and he was really good in running. And he said, why don't we do competition in track and field, in running?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, okay, what? So it is like 60 meters dash or something, long jump. High jump we couldn't do because we didn't have standards, right? But long jump, triple jump, we could do. So we did that. And then we played soccer. And then my grandfather said to me one day, you're kind of heavy, kind of strong guy. I was the heaviest, much heavier than everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, maybe you should be shot putter.
Mm-hmm.
I was in grade 5. He's telling me that I should be a shot putter. I said, okay. And then, so there were some shots, some stones, and stones, and throwing stones, I was better, the best, absolutely the best. So he said that he would help me out. So in grade 5, I started to do a little bit of throwing, but mostly we were doing the baseball throw, right? Because we had the quadrathlon in Poland at that time. For the grade schools.
Mm-hmm.
So you have 60 meters dash, then you had long jump, high jump, and this baseball throw.
Okay.
And I threw that baseball, in feet, because baseball is good in feet here. 100 meters, we will be at 330 feet, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
For the 14, 15 years old kid, right?
Oh, amazing.
Well, that's why my hero was Jesse Barfield.
Okay.
When I came here and I saw this guy throwing, I said, "Oh, the best thrower ever." But anyway, so I had that urge to do that throwing, and my grandfather used to be a kind of big shot in the cement factory.
Mm-hmm.
So in cement factories, they are crushing the stones with the balls in the cylinders. So cylinders are turning around. Mm-hmm. They are balls, the steel balls, and they're crushing the stones. And then they eventually becoming cement, right? Mm-hmm. And so one day we are getting just heavy, dirty box and 20 shots, 20 balls, mm-hmm. from 2 kilo to 10 kilo. Imagine how heavy that box was. Right? Yeah. And so they brought with a special truck and this and that, so they threw it on the ground, and I had 20 balls, weighted balls, really good. And I mean, they're not exactly 2 kilo or 3 kilo, they were 3.2, 3.3, right? But it was something to throw with, and then I learned very quickly, because we had in Poland at that time the monthly magazine Track and Field. Mm-hmm. And they were presenting the best track and field athletes, their trainings, their progressions, their results and stuff like this. And I was interested in it, so I was glued to it. And at the age of maybe 14, 15, 13, I knew much more than many coaches, really, because I read, and I was and I've got this passion for that. And as a matter of fact, at the age of 14, I became a national record holder in under 14. Wow. And I put 1495 with 4 kilo, right? No coach, no mm-hmm. nothing. Well, I was lucky that there was one teacher who told us right from the beginning that the proper release of shot put is like in basketball. So it has to roll off the fingertips, mm-hmm. right? Backwards. So I didn't screw up that part, but then I was learning O'Brien technique with the glide backwards. At that time, many people didn't understand that part. So, the teacher says, no, you should be doing that. And I said, well, that's the way they're doing, right? So that was my big success. And they took me to different clubs. And I started to travel here and there for the competition. But I had always training by myself. Always. And I read, I study, and we couldn't do any videos like right now. Everybody can do video. You can go on YouTube. You can see whatever you want to see. Yep. You want to see the old technique of Per O'Brien? Here you go. Mm-hmm. They will show you. And we had not at that time, right? So I was asking the friend of mine who was taking still pictures, just to take so many pictures I would see in particular phases of throw, how it looks, right? Mm-hmm. And I have them all today. Oh, yeah. In my office.
All in succession.
I have succession. I framed it.
Nice.
And I showed once to my athletes. Mm-hmm. I don't know, 20 years ago or something. I said, guys, without coach, mm-hmm. I did that. And I didn't have a circle. I drew the circle on the dirt, right? So how did you do that? Well, crazy, right? But if you want to do something, you have to be really, you have to be crazy. Mm-hmm. You have to be committed. You have to be different, and I was. So after this, when I was 18, I won junior national championships and represented Poland in the first meet. Well, I've been to Soviet Union, East Germany, and stuff like this. It's for those little meets before, right?
Yes.
But my first meet with the national team, we went to Italy, from behind the Iron Curtain, right? And you are 18, you're going to Italy.
Yeah.
So we flew to Rome, and again we went to Stazione Termini, which is the railway station, right? And we took the train to Pisa. And in Pisa we had competition, and then it was 2 weeks of being in Italy. You would not believe the influence on us, just going somewhere else, which is totally different world. And that is absolutely the moment that I get. That's all my life. That's all my life. And it was going fine. I was pretty good at school. Studying at the phys ed school. I got a master's degree. We had a little bit different system, big time different system in coaching, on teaching coaches, right, or schooling coaches. When I told Vern Gambetta that we had 640 hours of track and field for 4 years.
Yeah.
He said, you tell everybody again, please.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But it was a little bit different because I took the specialty in track and field, right? Every average student didn't have that many. I had 270 hours of practical track and field plus a little bit of theory, right?
Yeah.
But we had a whole bunch, and I think that that was one thing that the people either liked it or just bailed out, and then. After the phys ed school, and you finish that specialty, then you got the title of instructor of track and field, not coach.
Yeah.
Instructor. And then after 1 year of being of training under some good guy, some more experienced coach, they would give you a coach of second class. And after this, 5 years after. If you came up with the results that the athletes would be on the national level, they would give you a category 1 or class 1 coach. And there was one more category, master coach. A master coach is the guy whose athletes won medals in the Olympics. Okay. So it's not that many, right? Yeah. Not that many. So that was pretty good. And I was level 1 coach. And I was working with good coaches, really good coaches. And my coach was it was a national team in discus coach when I was at phys ed school. And then when I graduated from school, he said, "Okay, you will be my next." And I said, "So when?" And he says, "Okay, if I tell you now, then what?" Okay. So he had no doubts that I could make it, and I had no doubts that I could make it, right? Because then I inherited from his group my friends, who some of them are older than me, right? Now you're trying to be the coach of your buddies. Well, I had this kind of beauty that I would say, okay, we are friends here, but. When we are going to practice, we are not friends, okay, guys? And it was not easy, always, but at the end it worked out.
Yeah.
But because the best thing is when you pick up fresh guys, without any bad habits or anything. Okay, let's say they're basketball players or rugby players or something. And they say, well, he could be a good shot putter or something. And they say, okay, come over, right?
Yeah.
And that guy has no idea. Then you're just giving them from the beginning, right? And I noticed that was the best way.
Yeah.
And then I came to Canada after the Olympics in Moscow, because in 1980 there were Olympics.
Yeah.
I went to the Olympics in Moscow as an apprentice guy, kind of.
Okay.
Helping out a little bit, learning stuff like this, because it was always a very good system. Right from I have to say, in communism, the sports system was the best ever.
Yeah.
So we had those things step by step. You guys go, and then you go to the Olympics when you know how to fly by yourself, right?
Yeah.
But before, you have to know what the guys are doing. The other who are flying by themselves. So it is just the system, right?
Yeah.
And I like that. And it was pretty good eye-opener in Moscow. It was very good competition, very tricky competition, very, sometimes, I would say cheating competition, because it is the, Sean, in 1976, after the Olympics in Montreal, the first secretary of Communistic Party, invited all the coaches to Warsaw, and he told us that the next Olympics will be in Moscow. The first Olympics in the socialistic world, right? And we have to beat Americans. And it's like, we cannot beat them. We have to beat Americans. Russians will beat the Americans, and we have to beat them too. Well, we beat them because they didn't show up. But the thing is...
So that was the boycott year.
Yeah, but it was like a simple thing. It is political, right? It is political.
Yeah.
And when you see East Germans or Russians or Polish or Bulgarians or Romanians or Hungarians or whoever, Chinese especially, right? Then they are putting the people on the podium, and then they're playing this national anthem, and everybody in the world is listening to this and watching to it. Okay, and they are standing on the top of the podium, which is the top of the world. You're listening to the anthem. You're seeing the flag. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. So when I came here from after '81, because I've been through kind of immigration, really hard immigration, because I spent 7 months in a refugee camp, really, in Austria. Right. It was not like nowadays in Palestine or something that people are living in, or like in Toronto they are living on the street, right? No. It was different. And I arrived in Montreal, and I spent 1 year in Montreal, watching around and looking around, and then I asked these guys in Montreal, who is the boss of track and field, and they said that Gerard Mach.
Another Polish.
Yeah. He was the legend in Poland. He was coaching Shavinsky. He was coaching 4x400 guys, gold medal, silver medal, in the Olympics. Master coach. So he arrived in Canada, I guess, in 1973. I arrived in Canada in 1981 in December, and in 1982, maybe March, April, I was able to see him first time.
Yeah.
So I kind of got through all those numbers, and I introduced myself. I said, I would like to meet with you, and I talk with you about coaching in Canada. And he says, I am busy because I am the national team coach.
Yeah.
And I said, but I'm as good. I'm as good.
Yeah.
Because that's my self-confidence all the time, right?
Yeah.
And then he says, so whom did you develop? Not guys like you, but you're older than by 20 years, so I didn't have a chance to do it, but I'm as good. So he said, okay, come over. So I took the bus from Montreal to Ottawa. I went there, and he looked at me, and he says, talk to me. I said, okay. This is what my name is, da. And he says, looks good. So you understand the system? I said, what do you mean understand? The part of it.
Yeah.
It is like heart of it, right? Yeah. Liver. I don't know. I'm just part of it. I don't know anything else.
Yeah.
And he says, here is different.
Yes, very different.
And I says, how different is it? Well, have you heard about the immigrants coming here in 1800s or 1700s? Well, kinda. So they're coming, and there was wilderness. So they were taking axes, they were just chopping down the woods and stuff like this, and they just da. And that's, we are on that level. I said, no, because I checked, it was like Harry Jerome this and da. And he says, even if you don't do anything, even if you disturb people, there'll be always one or two who will be good. But if you want to have the team, if you want to have the program, you have to build it. You have to organize it from scratch. And we are right now maybe from ABC, maybe on C right now. You imagine where you're going to do that, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so I said, okay. And then he went, he said, I have to go to, oh no, it was May, because he had to go to the meet. It was a tri-meet, Canada, Great Britain, and Poland in London.
Okay.
And he went there. And he says, after I come back, you will come and we'll talk again. And are you back? Yes, I'm coming. So he says, I talked about you. I said, yeah, no, the team, but whom did you talk to with, right? And he says, and I don't want to tell the name.
Okay. No worries.
Yeah, it is, but it is a very famous name, right?
Yeah. Okay.
But the problem with this famous name was that we always just
banging heads with each
yeah,
other.
Yeah. It is not that that we hated each other or anything like this. It was just that I really had my own opinion and a pretty strong one, and he too.
Yeah.
And he said to Gerard, you know, Bogdan is a very difficult person to work with.
Yes.
He's his own ideas. He's stubborn like hell, but what good thing is in it? He knows stuff. He's very hardworking, and when he gets to something, he'll just go like crazy.
Okay.
And it's I'm looking at him, and well, you are hired.
I love that. That's great.
Yeah, but it was not hired that way because it was Montreal. It was 1982, right? So he said that he's working on the High Performance Center at the University of Toronto because there's the guy of name Andy Higgins.
Okay.
And Andy Higgins was a smart guy, and unfortunately he died. But he was the head coach for that, and he says that he could be the part of our thinking because he's thinking the same way. It has to be system. Has to be
develop the system.
Exactly. It has to be the foundation. There has to be building the bricks, the proper bricks. Everything is very important. So I said, okay. I left my country. Then I go from Montreal to Toronto, wherever I had to go. It doesn't matter really, right? And we started to do something. And so at the beginning, I was for 1 year apprentice. They gave me apprenticeship from a Canadian Coaching Association, I guess it was.
Okay.
And it was $1,000. And then I got something from the club. It was not easy, but my ex-wife was getting some money from immigration, so we was able to survive.
Okay.
And then in 83, we got the financing from the government, so we could be paid.
Oh, good.
Well, it was at that time $26,000, right? Which was not bad, but it was not good, right? So, and it was like this all the time until I die.
Yeah. I think that was my dad's biggest, thorn in his side is that there wasn't enough funding for Canadian athletes or coaches, and that's why a lot of the athletes will go to other countries and just try to find better training. You talked about how you're the fella in Montreal there. He's working from the people, at the very low level.
Yeah.
And, you have to build it up.
Yeah.
My dad saw it where, with wrestling,
yeah,
he saw that the competition here wasn't good. The training wasn't, they were getting a level of it, but he needed to go to another level to excel.
See, wrestling, weightlifting, boxing maybe not, but like fencing, like rowing, like kayaking, track and field. They are sports that the people have to actually know. It is not for the masses. Soccer is for the masses.
Yes.
Football, okay? They understand the several rules, and they will just do whatever they want to do just to either jeer or do something on the ref, because ref has the opportunity to mitigate the situation, okay? You've got some rules, okay? Yeah. You're going shoulder to shoulder, and it is no problem. But if you are strong and you push the other guy and he falls down, then all of a sudden it's your foul, right? But it's the same action, right? Yeah. So it's just interpretation of the ref, right?
Yeah.
But in track, it is like this. And my wife is track and field passionate, and me too. And my kid, because I have two kids, one from first marriage, one from the other marriage, he was coming to U of T, and he was throwing a little bit discus and shot, and he actually ran 100 meters. He was going to St. Mike's.
Okay.
And St. Mike's coaches my athletes from U of T, right? So,
Yeah.
so he had pretty good situation. And just lately, we watched the Diamond League from Poland, and he was looking at it. This is really interesting. And I said, "Well, he's a soccer player.
Okay.
He was playing for University of Windsor, and he says, I got crazy about soccer, but track and field is really interesting." But I said, the problem with track and field is that you have to know what is going on. Mm-hmm. If somebody is saying, well, the first lap was 52 seconds, and if the guys are running like this, I said, that's slow, okay? Mm-hmm. 51, 2, maybe 50, 80 would be good for that, right? Mm-hmm. And who will know that? You have to know that. Every runner knows that. Mm-hmm. But wrestler won't know it. Nope. No, and then there'll be some things in weightlifting, and then you're looking at the guy, and he's just lifting 180 kilo, and then says, that's not easy. Yeah. And then the guy, whoa, that's really good. I said, well, it's not good. He's a super heavyweight. He should be into 20 to like this. Yeah. Oh, so you've got to know all those things. Because I was in theory of sport, mm-hmm. we did the whole bunch of different testing and different...
you had to get used to a lot of, or experience a lot of different sports. Gymnastics was one of them.
Well, gymnastics was, gymnastics was my suffering of my life. because we had to go 3 years gymnastics at physics school, right?
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, and it like 1 hour and a half every week mm-hmm. for 3 years, right? And we are not gymnasts, but you had to learn some stuff. Mm-hmm. I don't know why gymnastics. We could do maybe different things, right? But gymnastics, swimming, a lot of swimming, track and field, right? Mm-hmm. Not too much of winter sports, maybe 2 times 2 weeks, but that's it. And about what we did is we did testing boxers and wrestlers and soccer players, but we couldn't do anything specific because we didn't know. Mm-hmm. So we asked the coaches who would do, what would be good. And in track and field, the guy said, well, you cannot do anything about technique, right? No testing. Mm-hmm. No, there's no test. I said, okay, this is a good technique, it's not a good technique. There's no way you can say it. Because one guy is tall, one guy is skinny, one guy is shorter, right? When you look at the shot putters right now in the world, mm-hmm. the best one is what is the name? Ryan Krauser, right? Okay. World record holder, 23 and a half. Jesus Christ, what he's doing is just beyond belief. But he is 6'7", 340, very fit, and the strength level up amazing, but not as good as Joe Kovac, who is number 2, mm-hmm. who is only 6'1", maybe. Mm-hmm. And he's about 280 or so a smaller guy, but he can do 700 bench squat, no problem. Mm-hmm. 700 pounds, right? So so we know that weightlifting is important for the throwers, whether it will be tall or small or short. Mm-hmm. But then it's technique, and then technique will fit this guy better and the other guy not. Mm-hmm. So the coach was saying, hey, you do something universal, and we will take care of it, right? Mm-hmm. So we understood that part because it is when you are trying to be the best coach possible, then you have to adjust. And this is actually Vern Gambetta's craziness. Okay, you have to adjust everything to the athlete. Mm-hmm. You cannot put athlete into some kind of mold. Mm-hmm. It's impossible. It doesn't make any sense. And I knew it, but I didn't really pay attention mm-hmm. because when I was in East Germany for a while, I spent almost 9 months in the Soviet Union. Okay, and then maybe 6 months in East Germany. For the coaches exchange, right? Yeah. Because we had the exchange. You wouldn't learn everything because there are some things that they wouldn't show. Yeah.
For sure.
Then they're kind of according to the rules, maybe not the cleanest ones, right? Yeah. But we knew all along, okay, that Americans actually started that thing. Yeah. When my friend Władysław Komar went to U.S. and he was spending time with American throwers. came back in 1971, I guess it was. And then we are talking about technique, we're talking this, we're talking that. And he says, guys, that's BS. Everybody knows technique.
Yeah.
Everybody knows how to be strong. But there's one thing that not everybody knows. And he's showing us the pills.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's like, holy Jesus, okay, we kind of know, but, why would you do that? He says, because I want to win Olympics.
Yeah.
So he won.
Yeah.
1 centimeter further than George Woods, American.
Oh,
And then it was number 3 was Hartmut Brzezinnik from East Germany, and number 4 was Hans-Peter Gies from East Germany, and I competed against both Hans-Peter Gies and then Brzezinnik because they were my age.
Yeah.
Komar was older by 8 years, right? And I remember in 1966, 67, I was competing against Brzezinnik, and I won once with him. He was taller than me, but skinny, right?
And sorry, the main event that you were in, I don't know if we established that. Shot put. Yeah, I think we said that, maybe we said it at the beginning, but you were,
No, shot put was because I did, those 20 shots and all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
So shot put was number 1. And then, so I won with him once, then he beat me. And then he beat me and beat me all the time after this. And then when I saw him on TV in Munich in 1972, he was like twice as big.
Ah.
So and when you are in the business, you have to know the insides of the business.
Yeah.
And everybody knows that we were bad guys. But nobody wanted to say that Americans were bad guys even earlier than we are, right? Because it is tough to blame yourself, right? It's easy to say, oh, well, these guys.
Yeah.
But it was the situation that everybody was as crazy, and there were lots of people who would just do it properly.
Yeah.
So let's say that Vern knows Edmund Piątkowski, who was a world record holder in discus from Poland. He threw 59.91, but before the record belonged to the American guy of name Fortune Gordian.
Okay.
It was 59.28, and he hit 59.91. And then it was Jay Sylvester, who threw over 60, the first guy in the world, right? And then Piątkowski was the guy that I know, and everybody knows, that he would not take even vitamin C.
Oh, yeah.
And he was not big. He was maybe 6'1", and maybe 95 kilo, which is like, less than 220, right?
Yeah.
And he was quick and strong and everything, and that was it. But then I knew the whole bunch of throwers who couldn't throw 60 meters, and he was just juicing like crazy. So it is that part of the business is bad.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it is like taboo, and nobody's talking about it, and everybody's just showing, blaming each other. Obviously, in East Germany, there was the system.
Yeah.
In Poland, it was not the system. There was no system. Even in Russia, they didn't have system.
I remember not me, but my dad telling me a story. He was at the 68 Olympic Games in Mexico.
Yeah.
And he was sitting in the stands. And back then, I don't think there was any really ban on substances in 68.
No.
Yeah.
Until 1976,
Yeah.
1977, it was nothing.
Yeah. He sat there and he said he was looking over and one of the athletes, and I won't say what country it was from, but was injecting something into their body while the coach was kind of covering it up. So it was
water.
Yeah. Just injecting some water.
That's right.
But it was prevalent, I guess. People knew about it. It just wasn't talked about openly.
Well, I wrote the piece for the Polish newspapers here, and the Polish because I'm involved in writing about Polish and presenting the Polish society here in sport.
Yeah.
And I wrote the piece about doping in sports, and it starts in ancient Greece. And the people know, what are you talking about? They didn't have a dynamo. I said, well, they didn't. But you know what they did? They have those priests on the gates, and the guys were going to those chariots, right?
Yes.
Competition in chariots, and that was a scary situation. So they were drinking alcohol. Because when you are drinking alcohol, you're kind of losing your kind of fear, right? Some people are getting crazy.
That's right.
So they were just smelling the breath.
Mm-hmm.
And say, well, you're drunk, you cannot compete. How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a long time ago, right? We're talking like 3,000 years ago or something, right? So this is nothing new, and it was like this all the time. Then it was some break, in the medieval times, and then it was again from the end of 19th century. Then they were going crazy again. You had those long distance biking competition. The people were using ephedrine, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this and that. There's not always something, something, because it is money, and it is fame, it is influence, power.
Yeah.
And for that, people will do everything.
That's right.
Unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
And when we are talking about sports, sport is part of it. Because when you are becoming strong and important and famous, then all of a sudden everybody wants you to present some kind of part of the view, political views, right?
Yeah.
So, for example, this poor girl from Poland, she is a #1 tennis player right now, Iga Świątek,
Mm-hmm.
and she is dancing on the eggshells, right?
Yeah.
She presented the situation that she supports Ukraine and she's against Putin. Actually, she did not say that she's against Putin.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the important part.
Yeah.
You can only say, well, the war is not good.
Mm-hmm.
War is not good. We know that. But when you're saying who is doing against whom, and then you're getting into details, right? And whatever she does, it is like under super microscope. But she's not as bad as Novak Djokovic, for example, because Novak Djokovic can look at somebody in his way, queer way sometimes, and there will be big story next day in the newspapers because he just looked at him, or maybe he was treating somebody not as well as they expected. So because you are #1,
Yeah.
because you are very, very famous.
Yeah. And the ego starts to come out.
Now, even if they don't want to have the egos, then whatever they do, it will be under microscope, right?
Mhm.
So sport is like this, and we knew that.
Yeah.
And for example, when you did studies, there was a very good book of track and field, really good technical book made written by Smoliński in East Germany, and then it was fantastic book with the pictures, but not pictures, but the drawings, right, and good stuff. And this guy, and the first part on the first page is that we have to be thankful to the socialistic East Germany because they are giving us the chance to be. So it is always some kind of political stuff, right? And what was good in Canada for me was that nobody was really pressing for that.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, when I went to Finland with national team, we had West Germany, Finland, and Canada meet, but only throwers, right?
Yeah.
And one of the throwers who was pretty good, he was famous. I don't want to put the name. He says that, well, He just, I said, hey, listen, you're competing for Canada. Canada is paid your tickets.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but I'm turning by myself. I'm working at the U.S. and that. I said, well, here you're the member of Canadian team, so you have to make sure that you're working for Canada pretty well because they pay you that thing here,
Mm-hmm.
the tickets and staying here and stuff like this. He said, okay, now do one throw for Canada and the rest for me. And I was just looking like this is new.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily I am agreeing with it, but I've never heard anything like this in my life.
Yeah. There's a little bit of I think with Canadian sports or with Canada, the patriotism here is, and this is just my opinion, but it's divided because we have so many different countries.
Beautiful.
And, I think if you're Dutch, the first thing somebody asks you is,
where are you from?
Exactly.
You're from.
And if you say,
you don't have to have an accent like I do.
Yeah.
But it's like, where are you from?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I am from Mississauga.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the story. We were in Tennessee.
Yeah.
In University of Tennessee in Knoxville, we had the camp. And, after the practice, I'm going to some kind of corner store to get some food, something like that. And there were some Jewish guys there. They were running that store, because I can see. and then I'm saying I would like to have this and this and this.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're saying with this heavy, Tennessee accent,
Mm-hmm.
ta-da, ta-da, ta-da. And I said, I don't understand. And he says, where are you from?
Yeah.
Well, I am from Canada. Oh, you guys speak so differently there.
Yeah.
They don't have an idea, but for us, like, see, the people who are Bianca Andreescu, that the tennis player, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're saying that she's the parents are Romanians, so she went to Romania to practice, to train. She was Romania. So like, are you Canadian? Are you Romanian or what? Right? Then it is the whole bunch of Polish soccer players, and I am the part of one of the Lakeshore United soccer football club.
Okay.
And they're trying to get some kind of better engagement somewhere. So
Yeah.
we are sending them to Poland
Mm-hmm.
because we have some contacts. You need contacts.
Yes.
And then there's one guy stayed there, okay, and now he's born here.
Yes.
Depends with Polish, so he was going kind of to Polish school, so his language was okay, but he was a very good player, so he stayed in Poland, and now he doesn't know what he is, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So parents came from Poland. He was born in here. He went back to Poland. Now he's living in Poland. So are you Polish? Are you Canadian? What is with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
A long time ago, it was impossible, right?
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, Americans, they had this melting pot that my friends who immigrated with me in 1981, we visited them in 1983,
Mm-hmm.
like 2 years, a year and a half after this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of didn't know what kilometers were anymore, right? It was miles and pounds and this and that. I said, are you the guy stupid or something? You are 35 years old, and all of a sudden you forgot the kilometers, right? But it is just to fit in, right?
Yeah.
So you have to fit in. Americans were pretty good at it. Right now it is not as much because you go to southern states and everybody speaks Spanish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So everything is changing.
Yeah.
But here especially, right? And then, but what is, it could be good and it could be bad.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see that it is really, there's not national pride like you have, for example, in Bosnia.
Mm-hmm.
If you have Moldova or Albania or something like this, they're brand new countries.
Mm-hmm.
They would like to see to be visible in a good way. So they are working on sports that they can develop.
Yeah.
They cannot do, let's say, I don't know, fencing or something it is, or yachting or something, but they can play soccer
Mm-hmm.
because soccer is very popular there. And when they play for the country.
Yeah.
Oh, the blood and tears and everything, right?
Yeah.
They will lose teeth, no problem. No problem. I'm playing for my country, right?
Yeah.
And here, maybe in hockey, right? So everybody is crazy about hockey. So, when you have the world championships in hockey, will be under 12, under 18, under 20, or the seniors, everybody will come and see it, right?
Mm-hmm.
2010 Olympics in Vancouver, that was the best time for me to feel Canadian.
Yeah.
Because, what these guys were doing in BC, it was just amazing. That was Poland,
Mm-hmm.
a long time ago, right? Because they were kind of like, oh, we are not that good. We are being pressed by this, by that. Everybody's feeling sorry for themselves. And all of a sudden it's coming to that 2010 Olympics and they're winning. They're winning everything, okay? They won the entire Olympics.
Yeah.
With the medals and everything, right? That was possible to do it. And then the best thing was like they had the curling, and they started to sing a Canadian anthem while curling.
Yeah.
I can't believe it, Yeah, but it is possible. It has to be cultivated, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the cultivation of Canada, when you look at I'm old. I've been here for 40 years, right?
Yeah.
So it is. I'm watching it totally different than somebody who was brought up here. Like my wife is Canadian, born here, downtown Toronto, right? So she's got totally different outlook, everything than me. And she's a sport person. She loves sports. She watched today the soccer games and everything. But when I'm saying something like this, I says, you weird. But then she went to Poland with me for 2 years, 1997, 98. And she was competing in Masters.
Mm-hmm.
And she saw the Masters competition organization. She saw that the people who were there. I said, I'll introduce you to at least 10 Olympic gold medalists. Well, Canada didn't have 10 Olympic medalists, but I knew them, right? I'm not kidding. They came from Canada in '97, right after Diana's death, right? And to Warsaw, and then we went to some kind of big store, and there was Jacek Wszoła sport goods. Jacek Wszoła was Olympic gold medalist in Montreal, in a high jump from Poland. I said, I can't believe it. So he said, I know the name. Yeah. I said, he's Olympic champion from in '76. He said, wow, that would be good to see him, meet him one day. I said, okay. I'm going to the store, and I said, can I speak with Jacek? And then the lady says, who are you? I said, his friend. As a matter of fact, Jacek was coming here to Toronto from '82, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I was one of the managers for the money, right? So he was making money. He was competing. We had a high jump in front of the City Hall.
Okay.
Yeah. So he was there. So he's coming. Oh man. So and I said, okay, I would like to introduce my wife to you and you to my wife, and she's a high jumper too. She's not as famous, but but she's a high jumper.
Yeah.
And she said, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. And then 3 days after, we're going to the specific area where the physics school in Warsaw. And then it's Władysław Komar, a shot put Olympic champion in '72. It's coming. I know him. We were buddies, right? Yeah. And I said, hey. So in 4 days, really, within 4 days, she met 2 Olympic gold medalists. Yeah. I said, there's 8 more.
Yeah, there's 8 more.
that I know. So anyway, so that was it. In Canada, I had a great time until 1988. And after 1988, the whole thing collapsed because of Ben, right? Not really just because of Ben, because it was the whole thing that was like political spectrum. Ben didn't have to be caught. Because Carl Lewis was caught before. Carl Lewis was caught in 1984 Olympic trials, 84 Olympic trials in the U.S., and they didn't do anything, right? But it was out of control, the whole usage of drugs. So they used him as a scapegoat, really, because he was very famous. He was more famous than anybody else. He was more famous than Gretzky.
Yep.
In the world, really.
Yeah.
So that was it. And after this, it started to go down because Gerard was gone. And if it was his fault. And then it was... because they always have to find somebody. In general, in Canada, they're cutting the head, right? So he was not. He was the best thing that happened, really, here. And then after this, I had the Olympics in '92. That was the best time of my life because
Barcelona?
Because I knew that was it. So Michael Smith, that I was coaching in throws and strength training. He was the flag bearer. That is not good because every flag bearer is not competing well. So in 100 meters, I don't know. It's just kind of course, right?
Yeah.
And the first event, 100 meters, he pulled his hamstring. It was over.
Ouch.
And he was the favorite.
Yeah.
He was the favorite because his best and the strongest opponent was O'Brien, right, from the U.S. And he didn't make the team because he had 0 on pole vault and he was number 4. And they're brutal. They're taking top 3 and that's it, right? So he was the observer, and we were just watching, and he says, I can't believe it. I am giving him gold medal. And he is pulling his hamstring. I said, I know. Dan O'Brien actually won decathlon in 1996.
Nice.
But he had gold medal. Michael was second, and after him in 1991 in the World Championships. So he was always number 2.
Yeah.
And Dan O'Brien was better. And so that was great. And so 92, I said, okay, it's not going anywhere, right? It's going.
Yeah.
So I had it. And it was funny situation that 4 of us, they didn't have a room in the Olympic Village for 4 of us. The top coaches, really, right?
No.
Because they had some kind of officials and stuff like this. And then in Canada, officials are more important than coaches. So they kicked us out from the Olympic Village to some kind of hotel.
Mm-hmm.
But the hotel was on the La Rambla. And it was the of the center of action in Spain.
Oh.
The best place. As a matter of fact, hotel was absolutely perfect because we had air conditioning. We had and Olympic Village there no air conditioning. Right?
Oh no.
No.
Yeah.
There's no air conditioning in Olympic Village. It's
Yeah.
not. And then they had those bunk beds. Then we had very nice rooms, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then next to us was another hotel. And then one day, we see the Dream Team '92.
Oh,
they
the basketball
came.
players?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was okay until Charles Barkley said somehow, somewhere, that they are there. Since then, it was hell.
Oh,
because the
I
people were there. But I was lucky that my windows were in a different place. Right? So,
Yeah.
so I was good. And so that was it. And then you have this Dream Team.
Mm-hmm.
You can't even imagine how big deal that was.
Yeah.
I mean, for us too.
Yeah.
We have a big stadium, full stadium on the Montjuic, on top, the Olympic Stadium. And there's some kind of race. I don't know what it was. I don't remember. And then all of a sudden, everybody's standing up, looking somewhere. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then it is two basketball players from the U.S. team are coming in, right? What was it? One of this? It was Admiral. They called him Admiral. He was from Texas, right?
Okay.
And then somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, they were more important than this race, right?
Yes.
So the thing is that this sport is pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
And today I was watching in the morning a football game, Australia and Ireland, right?
Yep.
78,000 people
Mm-hmm.
watching the game. Actually, girls are not bad.
Yep.
It's not top. Like I got used to a little bit different football. But
Yep.
the thing is, they are tough. They are running. And they are not pretending anything. They're just not rolling around after a little foul. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
But the thing is that when you look at those particular sports, like you have rugby is,
Yeah.
for example, very popular in some countries,
Yes.
but not everywhere.
Mm.
But football is popular everywhere.
Yes.
And then when you have track and field, the people say, "Well, everybody runs and jumps and throws." Well, yeah, it is popular. They know the sport, but they don't know. They don't know the idea of the sport, or they know the details, right?
Yes.
Because when I said like, if you're running for 800 meters first lap 54 seconds,
That's right.
that's slow, man.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
slow. So the thing is, but in soccer, is the most important is to win at the end, right? One more goal than the other guys.
That's right. Yeah, it's easier for the spectator to follow.
Yeah.
You almost have to, and I hate to say this, but you almost have to dumb it down for the spectators because once it gets technical, and that's what happens with wrestling. Wrestling's so technical. When every 4 years we have to change the rules so that we try to bring in more spectators and we try to make it easier. And it kind of, I think we had with Greco one year. I mean, it just got ridiculous where they divvied up the time. You had to spend time on the ground versus time on the top. And it just,
I know that.
Yeah, yeah.
But I am so brutal because I love track and field. It's my first love.
Mm-hmm.
And only, really, first and only love. And the thing is that I know that sport is dying.
Yeah.
And lots of sports are dying.
Why do you think that is?
Because the people don't understand the sport. It requires some effort
Mm-hmm.
to understand the sport. And then there's no people who are teaching you the sport at school or at the entry level, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what they're doing, they're just playing whatever is possible. Or they don't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole thing is, when you go and you look at the level of service in Canada in 1982, 83, you go to corner store, you go to any store, and you will be served by the salesperson, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're putting the shoes on and this and that, And nowadays, but I knew that part,
Mm-hmm.
that nobody cares from Poland.
Yeah.
Because when you have the system that it doesn't matter whether you work well or not, but you're being paid,
Mm-hmm.
and you cannot be fired because of whatever, right?
Yeah.
Then it's going downhill.
Yeah, the quality of work.
Yeah, and sport here I can't really compare because the people are not being paid.
Mm-hmm.
So it is like I like to do it, and the problem is also it is maybe not that may not be popular, but I'll say anyway. Coaching. The people are saying that coaching is something really great because I'm giving back to the people and I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and I'm asking, so what am I going to give back for what? I didn't get anything.
Yeah.
So how will I get back if I don't get anything to give back, right?
Well, and it's not a sustainable income.
Yeah.
It's
no income.
Yeah.
Unless you do by yourself, right?
Yeah.
So you do the enterprise or enterprise coaching.
Yeah.
And there are some guys. As a matter of fact, when you look at the swimming coaches, they're pretty well paid
Mm-hmm.
because they have the system. And the people who are doing swimming, they're rich.
Yeah.
The same thing will be with the figure skaters. The people are paying, I don't know, $500 per hour, right? Of ice time and stuff like this. So these sports, they're good here.
Yeah.
But did you see any Kenyans who are learning figure skating lately? No, and you won't, right? Because they don't even know what the sport is, right?
Yeah.
So they are, in this system is skiers. I am a skier. I love skiing.
Mm-hmm.
I've been skiing all my life, and this is for the upper class, really.
Yeah.
When you go to the slopes right here, for one day you pay $70.
Mm-hmm.
Or more.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and this what? For what?
Mm-hmm.
They're just lifting your arse somewhere up, and then you can go by yourself and kill yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it is golf, also kind of crazy sport, right?
Yeah.
Because you pay, I don't know, 150 per round or 200, right?
Yeah.
And you're just going and this and that. Sure, it costs you upkeep and stuff like this, but
Yeah.
come on. Yeah. So and soccer costs nothing really. You
Yeah.
put the ball. You need to have ball,
That's
right?
it. That's right.
Yeah, if you have good grandfather, you get the ball.
Yeah.
And that's it, right?
Yeah. You know what? One of the other things I want to go back to something you're talking about, but so when I coached at the World Championships in grappling, and it was actually in Krakow, Poland.
Yeah.
And when I was there, we stayed at this school, and this school was completely dedicated to athletics, which is something quite foreign to the Canadian system over here. Never seen anything like it. In fact, when you're in high school here, you have to, and I find it repelling. Like when I was in high school, I had to be taught every single sport, similar to what you were, but it was, it was taught by not specialists.
That's right. Yeah.
It was just a gym teacher who really just, and half the time they just threw a basketball at us. Go and play basketball.
Yeah.
So for phys ed, for me, it was such a, it was, I hated the and I'm very athletic. Even back then I was athletic. But I hated it because it wasn't catered towards something that I wanted to do. But when we went over to Poland and we learned that these kids were specializing in whatever sport they were doing, is that something you went through when you were as a kid? Or
No. They started later.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I was the part of the guys who were just pushing for that.
Okay.
It was just when I left, they started to go really hard that way, and so I have nothing to do with it. But although we had the system, government-run system, and they were trying to come up with new ideas, right? Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you this: the talent, human talent in Poland versus Canada, you cannot compare. Canada is better. Mm-hmm. I went to first OFSA and the Ontario high school championships in 1983 to Kitchener.
Okay.
It was track and field. At that time, everybody had to compete in track and field. So it was football players, basketball players, hockey players. Everybody was competing. Mm-hmm. But through all those regionals and all this the different levels of competition, you had the best ones, right? So I went to Kitchener, and I'm telling you, I couldn't believe the talent that there was there. There's one guy who was midget. He could throw 62 meters like he didn't have any idea how to throw. With a 600 grams javelin, right? That's very good. That's very good. And he's like 14 years old or something. He's just amazing. And I'm looking at this kid. He's like 6 feet tall, and so he could be 6'2", 6'3", maybe. And the build is perfect, and this and that. And I'm coming to his coach, and I said, I would like to have this guy in my group. And he says, no. And I said, why not? Well, he was actually from Windsor area, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I said, I know it's Windsor area, big deal, but we can move him to.
Yep.
Yeah, they are moving him in hockey anyway, right?
Yes.
He says, because he's a very good hockey player.
Oh.
His name was Dave Crombeen. Dave Crombeen was a National Hockey League, a good player in the 80s.
Okay.
So now you've got this, right? Then my best discus thrower was Ray Lasdins. He threw 66 meters in discus eventually. Never used anything. Okay, the weakest thrower in the world, but the fastest, the best looking, and the smartest, technically wise.
Yeah.
And I got him from volleyball. He was a very good all-Ontario volleyball player, but he was on the stronger side, like heavier side, right? He was like 6'6", 6'7", but like 250. That's a little bit too heavy for volleyball. And then, holy smokes, what I lucked out like this. Like when we went to Europe, then all the guys are saying, you have the best talent in the world, right?
Yeah.
I said, yep. And so what are you going to do with him? I said, nothing. I know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I said, well, if he doesn't, then he'll have to carry the suitcases for our boys. And he says, and I say, he will do whatever he wants to do because he's pretty strong-willed, right?
Yeah.
Now he is 60 almost. And he is good-looking, and he's healthy, and he's no problem. He's got a beautiful family and stuff like this. All the buddies who were throwing at that time either died or are about to die or something. Because there is always something for something.
Yes.
If you are using something illegal, something that is going to harm you, but on the short, I would say, time it is helping, then you pay for it.
Yes.
And then last time, I would say last 3 years, the top Soviet hammer throwers died at the age of between 62 and 68.
Yeah.
Mostly had a heart problem. So that's one of the stories, right?
Yeah.
and Ray is good. Ray is just fine.
Yeah.
So the thing is that in sports, we have to look at it very wide, and then this is why I'm really good friend with Van Gambetta, because when you look at his approach, it is philosophical approach.
Yes.
It is not that he will be sticking to, let's say, wrestling or rugby or something. It will be just talking about that. I am more like track and field, right?
Yes.
But he would say you have to adjust the technique to the athlete.
Yes.
Now, I would say how and why. And this is that. And he says, I don't know, but you have to adjust to the athlete.
Yeah.
And he's right. And I'm also right how and why, right? It was a kind of funny thing. In East Germany, I saw the guy who was the coach, good coach, coaching kids. And I was talking with him about the coaching kids, and he says, the important thing is just to figure out what the kid is talented in, what direction. And he says, well, look at this kid. He was throwing the stones into the pond, right?
Yeah.
And he was throwing, instead of just throwing like a good baseball player, right? Elbow first and boom. Then now he was kind of throwing sideways.
Yes.
And more like discus. And he says, he's more discus thrower than javelin thrower, eh? Nobody told him how to throw, but he automatically is throwing like discus instead of like javelin, right? Good, simple thing, simple observation. My friend, he threw 85 meters almost in javelin with the wrong arm. Because the coach, when he was 14, the coach said, hey, you grab this javelin like this because you're right-handed, right?
Yeah.
So the fingers will be on that. This is the position. Boom, throw. So the kid took his right arm and he was starting to throw, but he's actually good in both arms, right?
Yes.
But his left arm is number one.
Mm-hmm.
This one is number two.
Mm-hmm.
So he's throwing with the number two arm 85 meters. He's my good buddy. He's like one younger. And then we started to throw the cups of beer for the distance, right?
Oh yes.
So I'm right-handed. Okay, I'm putting this beer cup on my right, and throwing very far. And he's taking to left arm, and he's just killing me.
Yeah.
And I said, "What the heck are you doing? Why are you throwing with left?" I said, "Because I'm left-handed." But you're throwing with right. Well, so adjust the technique to the guy, not the guy to the technique, right?
Yeah.
It is a whole bunch of examples like
Yeah,
this.
Vern, in speaking with him, I mean, he kind of blew my mind when it came to training. I've always thought that, what happens in the weight room will transfer over to the sport, but it's not always that way. And I've been doing more research in regards to that sort of training, and in doing that, coming to talk to you as well. But actually, I picked up one of the papers that you wrote, entitled "Aspects of Strength, Power, Speed in a Shot Put Training."
Yeah.
And you talk about in the opening about an individual, walking to work, and all that he sees, he doesn't see anything more.
Yeah. Well, that's it, isn't it? Yeah. When you just walk by and you don't notice, then you don't notice.
Yeah.
And then it's also the saying that. Okay, you've got a good-looking wife.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, it's a good-looking wife. When the other guy would just notice that she's very, very good-looking and decided to then whoa, now all of a sudden something, and under the you see it all of a sudden, right?
Yeah.
And that one is actually that paper was part of our testing, right, in Poland, and that was this. Individual approach for how heavy do you have to lift to be good at this particular event. Mm-hmm. So somebody can, like I was saying, that Kovac is stronger than Ryan Krauser, right?
Yes.
Yes, he is. But because he's smaller and shorter, then maybe it is.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah, maybe it is just the case. But we wanted to say, well, do you have to lift 1,000 pounds in order to put 7-pound shot 20 meters? That's the story. So it is like individual. And then some guys, they need heavy lifting.
Yeah.
But some guys don't.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't lift heavy, ever.
Yeah.
I just like the power of it, like 100 kilo in bench press for most of the folks is nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
220 pounds.
Yeah.
No big deal. But for me, it was.
Yeah.
For me, it was.
Yeah.
I did 140 kilo, my best, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember anybody who was under 200 kilo in bench press and shot put in the Olympics. I don't remember. I don't know anybody. 200 kilo, right?
Yeah.
440 pounds. And this is not a big deal because Ulf Timmerman from East Germany, he was doing 560 in bench press.
Yeah.
Sure, it was on the pad, right?
Yeah.
But it was 560. Mm-hmm. Even holding it is not easy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the animals that you see, but you have to pay attention. You have to see it, right? Mm-hmm. And what I like about Vern, he likes track and field. His track and field is also number one sport, really.
Yeah.
And then and he's got good memory, and he's got information from all the ends of the world about top guys, top athletes, top women, and me too.
Yeah.
So when we started to talk about things, then we're just finishing each other's sentences. It is not easy to find anybody who will be on the same level, right?
Yeah.
So that's the story, and I'm telling you, it is. I love the guy. He is very smart, and he is cool. We had the group of people going around the States. It was Dan Pfaff. He was coaching 4x400, 4x100, our guys in the 96 Olympics, right? Mm-hmm. There was Lawrence Seagrave. They are both from LSU. Mm-hmm. There was Canadian guy, Brent McFarland. There was me. There was him. and there was a very good guy, and Gary Winkler, from he was coaching at Champaign, Illinois, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a group of. He was a mathematician,
Yeah.
but he was great. He was coaching actually Perita Felicien here,
Yeah.
but funny, he was head coach for the American team in Athens. I was head coach for the Canadian team, and we both should not be head coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we both were fired.
Oh, yeah.
So we both kind of ended up on the national team top in the way that the organization association say, okay, at the end of your career you'll be the head coach, right? Head coach doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
He's just walking from place to place and talking with the big guys, right?
Yep.
So, so I talk with some kind of kings and queens and this and that, but didn't do anything. The only thing is when the 4x400, 4x100 guys in 1997 wanted to get more money for running.
Yeah.
I said, guys, you are going to win. If you win, you will get 80,000 US.
Yep.
20,000 per person, right?
Mm-hmm.
What else do you want? If you want something else, then I'll tell you what I can do.
Mm-hmm.
I can go and I scratch you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Nobody will fire me because they did fire me already, right?
Yeah.
And they said, well, he's right. And they won 4x100. Yeah. But it was always the games. You have the athletes, and it's one particular person really, and the other guys were just different. As a matter of fact, since we're talking about 4x1 sprinters, my favorite sprinter in Canada is Bruni Surin.
Okay.
Bruni Surin was part of that team. He ran 984 as fast as Bailey, but not as fast as Ben Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
And then he is a very good guy. He's French in Montreal. He's very successful in business, very cool, very down-to-earth person, and it is pretty rare in the sprinting world to find anybody like this.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just example of the best ambassador of the Canadian sport. As a matter of fact, you know who will be the chef de mission for the next Olympics?
Mm-hmm.
Bruni Surin.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Before you go, I just want to ask you one last question. What was your most memorable memory, I guess, it could be in your coaching career or just in athletics, your own athletic career? What would that be?
It was in Edinburgh, 1986. And I didn't expect your question, but I know it.
Mm-hmm.
Gerard Mach told me that you have to come up with the good results within 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you will not work. And he says, simple. That's how. I said, Gerard, it takes 8 years to prepare a good thrower, and I had only from scratch everybody. I didn't inherit anything. And he says, 3 years. So I started to coach really in 1983. I picked up that guy, that Ray Lasdens, who was the volleyball player, and he threw light disc was 1 kilo, 80 meters. Not everybody in the world can do it, and he was a kid. That speed he had, right? Because 1 kilo is speed. That is nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So in 1986, he won the Commonwealth Games.
Wow.
And then they're playing in the national anthem, Canadian national anthem. And Gerard is coming, pinching me in my ass, and he says, you see, it's possible. So that there was... one more thing is really, it is not that much with sport, although it is. John Paul II, a Polish Pope, he invited us. We went to 87 World Championships in Rome, and he invited everybody, to Castel Gandolfo for some kind of meeting with him. And Polish team was always the first, and they were in front. And then Canadian team was always slow, so we were the last with East Germans and with the Soviet Union, right? And the Pope is talking with all those languages, and it's coming to us.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to touch him.
Yeah.
But closer he came, more scared I was, really,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So when I came here, I moved a little bit. I was really close to him, and I said in Polish, Holy Father.
Yeah.
And he says, what are you doing here? And I said, well, I'm Polish, but I am coaching Canadian team.
Mm-hmm.
And then, we are here. And then the guy says, tell us that we are friends. And he says to me, son, just do the thing that I will not be ashamed of you, okay? I took it very seriously, right?
Yeah.
So that was the part, that one was for the winning of the athlete, and then this part was kind of a little bit on the edge, because the sport puts you into there, and then the biggest Catholic guy is telling you, you do a good job, okay?
Yeah.
That's it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was.
Well, thanks for sharing that
Thank
story.
you.
I want to thank you, Bogdan, for coming down all the way from Mississauga. Down
No big deal.
Yeah.
That's a pleasure. That's
Yeah.
a pleasure.
I'm so glad that Vern recommended you. It's been a blast just sitting here. I'm sure we could fill another hour if we needed to.
Oh, we could.
Yeah,
we could.
Yeah. But what I'll do is we'll come back and maybe revisit it. We'll come back in maybe a year or two, and then
Beautiful.
come back on. We talk about maybe some more. I wanted to talk to you about some more strength training and how that's kind of applied to your sport as well. Sure.
I'll tell you one thing at the end, okay? Because I wanted to start with it, but I forgot about it.
Sure.
It is about the coaching experience,
Mm-hmm.
and coaching as a whole thing. I am old, so when I was young and angry, and I knew better than the other coaches,
Mm-hmm.
because I studied, right?
Yeah.
Then I got a little bit older, and then I moved to different countries. I had to learn different things, and they told me that really, what you did in the Soviet bloc, it is a different story. When you go to the West, it's a different story. You cannot do it. As a matter of fact, I used the same system, and it worked perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Then I was cut. We had the cuts in the program, and then U of T invited me for next 2 years, 2009, 2010, and I restarted coaching. And I was so much better at the beginning than I was here in 1980s, because I knew already the system, and I used exactly the same methods. The only thing is, because I was able to do it at that time, the only thing is that I narrowed down the amount of work on different aspects of fitness.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't spend that much time on basketball or soccer or something, but they did more specialized training.
Yes.
And I found 5 guys who would go to the Olympics no problem. But the funds finished again, right?
Mm-hmm.
But so I got 3 times, starting, restarting, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And using the same methods with a little bit of cleanup.
Mm-hmm.
You will always get the same thing. Because when you want to do the weightlifting, you have to know one thing, that the next set should be in the super compensation phase. If you do it before that, or too late, you will not improve as much.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing will be with sprinting, and the same thing will be with endurance and everything else. So you have to be smart enough to put enough of effort for the exercise, and you have to be even smarter to find enough of time to recover.
Yes. I'm finding more and more, reading Vern's book after I had spoke to him, super compensation, and how important the recovery is, and how the timing comes into play. I mean, it's not something that because traditionally it's just been working out in the gym, hoping it transfers. And I think a lot of coaches are that way, where they think, okay, well, you're going to do bench press, you're going to do this, it'll transfer into the sport. When I was at Eastern Michigan, my coach Willie Gadsden, God bless his soul, he's passed on by now. I came back second year and I was just jacked. I had worked out my whole entire summer, and I thought, I'm going to put some pounds on. I want to wrestle heavyweight, and he was impressed, but I wasn't any faster.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I should have, if I had somebody like Vern, yourself, where
Yeah.
you can kind of like say, "Oh,
Don't go there too much.
Yeah.
Just slow down a bit.
yeah, just
You know that when you starve, you will not lose weight as fast as you use proper amount of food and proper foods.
mhm.
Because the metabolism is slowing down, right?
Yeah,
So you're not eating, metabolism is not working, you're not losing weight, really.
yeah,
So it's the same thing with any sport, really, right?
yeah.
So hey, young fellas, you can be angry, you can be involved, but the wheel was, developed long time ago, right?
Yes.
Invented long time ago.
Yeah.
So, pay attention to the wheel, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we don't have to invent the wheel all over again.
Exactly.
That's great. Well, thank you,
I appreciate
Bogdan.
it.
Again, such a
Appreciate
pleasure
it.
to finally meet you.
Yeah.
And again, we'll revisit this again. I'm sure our listeners
Anytime.
will love this.
Anytime. Thank you very much.